Hello everyone and good day. My name is Kharisma Fitriyani Algisya. My metric number is 260409. Today, I'm going to talk about the environmental issue that happens in our environment. And I'm going to explain to you about the specific issue, which is the air pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution refers to the release of the pollutants into the air that are detrimental to human health and the planet as a whole. Air pollution can be defined as the changing of the quality of the air that can be described by the chemical, biological, and physical measurements in the air. Air pollution is one of the most serious issues in the world because it can affect to human health and can contaminate the atmosphere. The depletion of the ozone layer also causes by the air pollution. It's dangerous if the ozone layer keeps depleting because it protects the Earth from the sun's UV rays. Human activities can also lead to the cause of the air pollution, such as deforestation, industrial waste, vehicle emissions, and etc. However, the human activities are not the only reasons that can cause of the air to get polluted, but also the natural events, like dust storms, volcanoes. Those events can release the quality of the air becomes worse. International treaties on environmental development. The Rio Declaration on Environment and Development is a framework on preserving the goals of the environmental issue that ratified internationally. The conference held under the United Nations and it was located in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, 1992. The conference was the second conference after the first summit in Stockholm in 1972, and the Rio Conference was the first large conference that focused on the environmental issue. The conference attended by the United Nations members in order to focus on the environmental issue either domestically and internationally and created policies. The goal of the Rio Declaration is to establish global partnership among states and societies through new levels of cooperation. Thus, working on international agreements which to protect the global environment integrity and the development of the system. Post-Cold War events from 1950 to 2020. The Cold War was a disseminator and a framework of the beginning of global disasters and also the emergence of a global environmental awareness. Yet, the relations between the Cold War and the environment was equal. Exploitation and protection gradually could open another front in the Cold War. During post-Cold War era, the military issues were related to the cause of the environmental problems. Military has always been contributed as the biggest polluter in the United States. There are a lot of land, air, and water that contaminated and illegally discharged. These problems were happened because of the chemical organics and polluting industries that easily evaporate and contaminate the industrial solvents. Military activities had brought many damage to the environment, in particularly in Central Eastern Europe and Soviet Union. The military caused radioactive contaminations that affected to human health, even to the human genotype, and the consequences happened for over decades. These natural disaster problems has damaged some areas such as urban and rural area, and it has showed the full effects from the damage such as radioactive contamination and the chemical seepage that contaminates into the sea that contain of the chemical weapons and radioactive material. In Soviet Union, nuclear weapons tests and nuclear exploitation happened for over decades that occupied by the military. The people had been surrounded in the high levels of the radioactivity, and it has brought high effects to the population and some health issues. There are a lot of efforts had to be done in order to fix these problems that caused by the radioactivity in Kazakhstan and some areas in Serbian Russia. All these activities happened because of the Cold War between United States with its allies such as Belgium, Iceland, Italy and other countries, and the Soviet Union with its allies such as Poland, Hungary, East Germany, and other countries. The military tested the chemical weapons and did some radioactive activities in purpose to strengthen their defense and their military from other countries attacked. All the chemical activities are still ongoing until today, such as nuclear and radiation. The radiation itself is a process of transmission. This may take such forms as tiny particles or light particles that are hard to be seen with bare eyes. Ultraviolet and visible light that we receive from the sun. Also, the transmission for TV and radio are all the forms of a common radiation in daily lives. The air condition in 2020. Recently, the world has been shaken by the incident of one of the most crucial pandemics in the 21st century, which is COVID-19. All states in around the world are trying their best to fight this pandemic because this virus has made victims fall in every day. There are a lot of causes that can affect people by this deadly virus, and one of the biggest causes that can affect people is from the air. Through sneeze or cough, people who are infected by the virus can easily transmit the virus to other people, and the virus will attack to the patient's body and keeps developing. The world needs more green areas to help us to tackle this crucial virus. And reboisation is also needed because we need the fresh air to against all the toxic and viruses. There are some impacts on nature during COVID-19, and one of the significant impacts is the reduce of the air pollution. In recent weeks, many people have uploaded pictures of the clear skies on the social media. It proves that the quarantine during this pandemic has been healing the nature. Because during quarantine, the total of the vehicles and industrial activities are obviously getting lower. Environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is one of the main issues that currently has been focusing by the United Nations. The degradation of the environment has showed some effects to the environment such as flood, earthquake, and other natural disasters that can cause deterioration of the environment. One of the biggest problems of the environmental issue is deforestation. People have been doing this negative activity for over a decade. They do it purposely for the sake of industrials without thinking the effect of it. Many companies are also doing illegal logging that obviously against the law. Global warming has been contributed by deforestation because the amount of the trees keep decreasing every year and this negative activity should be banned. Overpopulation is also one of the main causes that leads to environmental degradation. Recently, human population is growing rapidly and it puts strain on natural resources. With more population, all the basic daily needs must be increasing, such as food, clothes, and all the lifespan. Also, providing homes is the main factor environmental issue in the globalization era because the necessity and waste of households are increasing. Nowadays, the government has to develop their country's infrastructure, such as constructions of schools, hospitals, residentials, and etc. This action causes the lack of the greening land because the world has been surrounded by buildings over decades instead of forest. The possible ways to solve the problem. Sir, what are the possible ways for us to solve this problem? Well, by working together towards a better environment between nations is one of the effective ways for us to solve this current big issue, and also in order to protect our common values. So the possible ways are, firstly, through the technologies that has less impacts on the environment, such as using less paper and reduce the amount of the vehicles by taking public transportations can help us to solve this problem. Secondly, we have to take compromise when it comes to the environmental policy, because the government has made the right policy towards a better environment that we have to obey. And last but not least, through the histories and take a lesson from it. Well, learn from the past sometimes is the right way for us to be better. By learning from the histories, we could do better activities to tackle the damage of the environment. Solving the problem. The effective ways that we can do to solve the environmental issue are by adopting the green technologies and adopting the rules of the law, where the polluter must pay the penalty if they break the laws and rules. So people can be obedient to run all the rules by the government. Another effective way is by using our intelligence and our capacity to make sure people that nature could thrive. Nonetheless, the best solution is to work together through international legal commitments and put the environmental concerns on par with other concerns such as military and economic development, so that we could achieve our goals, which is healing the nature.